Goswami Niti Namine Namah Om. Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Om Vishnu Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Bhatyadari Chatarine Namaste Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Vasyatyade Satarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pasyatyade Satarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Gaur Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrajakatarya Sotara Sata Sri Mada Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrajakatarya Sotara Sata Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaja Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Chekaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. So what's next?
Is it you start with the homages?
You normally give an address for...
I'll give a little talk, okay. One thing I wanted to say is that there was a period in ISKCON, in the I don't know what year it was, but it was in the late 60s, early 70s, there was a phenomenon known as the zonal acharya phenomenon. Some of you have heard of this, but it was a system whereby if you wanted to get initiated, you had to go to the GBC person who was in charge of your area. You didn't have any choice. There was a quite a vast array of people that were initiating Diksha gurus at that time, but you were obligated, if you were a devotee and you wanted to get it initiated by the person who was near you or in charge of your zone. And that lost its popularity, and there was a big meeting to consult about this. It happened in New Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was actually aware of this, but it happened, and there was a big meeting, and I won't say who the main propagators of it were, but there were a lot of the people who are now gurus were involved, and one of them said that in this meeting, I was called into it, and afterwards they had a general meeting, and one of them said that I feel that there's a tsunami at my back, or a tidal wave. There wasn't a tsunami at that time. There was a tsunami, but they didn't know the word tsunami. Said, I feel like there's a tidal wave at my back. So they had a discussion, and they decided to do away with the zonal acharya thing. Right now, there's about 101 different people that are giving initiations, 101 Diksha gurus. So it's kind of like the whole thing has come back in a different way. I call it, Prabhupada said that we should study the principle of unity and diversity in depth and discuss it every year at Mayapur among the leaders of the society. So in a way, the zonal acharya thing has resurfaced, but it's different now. It's not like you're obligated to take initiation from the person who's in charge of your area. Now you have a big choice, and you can listen to a lot of lectures, and there's even a purport in the beginning of the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Chaitamrita. I think it's the 46th or 47th verse, where Prabhupada says that there's two different types of gurus. There's a Shiksha guru and a Diksha guru. The Diksha guru is the one who gives initiation, and the Shiksha guru is the one who is that you take shelter of for instruction. And he goes on to say in one of his purports that a person who distinguishes between the Shiksha and the Diksha spiritual masters, he uses the English word spiritual masters, is an offender. And it's kind of interesting that even though Prabhupada was initiated by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he translated his books, or when he was working on the translations, he only gave us one book that Bhaktisiddhanta wrote the purports to. That was the Brahma Samhita. And it's a very difficult book to understand. I'm a bit of a writer, but I had to have a dictionary in one hand while I was reading the book in the other hand. It's very advanced. But it was partly because he was writing mainly for the British rulers of India. That was before 1948. And so he was very careful. And Prabhupada was inspired by him. It was Bhaktisiddhanta who asked him to take this teaching to the English-speaking world. And that's why he went to the United States, because he thought it took him a long time from the time he got this instruction to the time he actually went to America. It was quite a long time. It was at least 10 years, maybe longer. From the time he first met Bhaktisiddhanta, one of the first things he said to him is he was talking with Prabhupada and Prabhupada's colleague who was with him, and he said, "You're both educated young men, you can take this preaching to the English-speaking world," or something like that. And so Prabhupada that's the reason he went to New York. So interestingly enough, Prabhupada was, although he was inspired to go to the West, or to take it to the English-speaking people, that was the only instruction. He didn't say where to go, or what country to go to, or whether to go on a ship or an airplane or whatever. He just said, you should teach this Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking world. So interestingly enough, Prabhupada didn't give us many books by Bhaktisiddhanta. And in a way, Prabhupada is like the Shiksha Guru to the whole of society. We're always reading his books, we're studying his books, and I have a rule that anyone who's initiated should read a little bit every day, or at least 30 pages every day, or their equivalent in an electronic version. But I know that not everyone can do that, so I have people read out loud, just, because not everybody can read 30 pages every day. It's a lot to ask. But it's interesting that Prabhupada himself was gazing at the tomb of Rupa Goswami's. It was the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. It's in Vrindavan. And he was in a room, and when you looked out the lattice, it's not a window exactly, it's a lattice work, kind of a metallic, I don't know if you've ever been there, to his rooms in Radha Damodar temple. But it looks out upon the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And Prabhupada translated the Nectar of Devotion as one of the first books that he gave us, and he completed it. He was translating it as early as 1969, 1970, and then the book. It didn't take very long for him to do the translation. Sometimes he would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do the translations. And I was staying at a place in Monroe, New York, where Prabhupada took us on a sort of field trip. And I was staying in the room right next to Prabhupada, and I heard him speaking at 2 o'clock in the morning. It kind of woke me up. And what was he doing? He was translating Nectar of Devotion. So it didn't take him so long to translate it, but the editing and the proofreading and the printing and the designing and everything took a long time. And it wasn't until 1971 or 72 that the book was actually published. And when it was published in Los Angeles. And he was very, very happy to be in the United States because he said that it's a very resourceful place and there's a lot of churches in there, although they're very materialistic. But he found that there was a lot of resourcefulness. And there's a Hindi proverb that says, if the blind man climbs on the shoulders of the layman, he can direct him where to go. And he said that it's similar to the fact that American resourcefulness and Indian wisdom have to combine. And that's what he did in his sojourn in America. He combined American resourcefulness with Indian wisdom. And that's the nature of his books. They're all like that. So when he was, this was Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. He said if I translated the whole thing, and it's available, the whole book is available. Bhanu Swami has translated it, but it would come to over 1,000 pages. So I'm just giving a summary study with about 450 pages. And when he was lecturing, he said in Los Angeles, after the book was published, he was very, very elated that the book was published. And he said that every one of you, he was talking to the devotees, this is almost verbatim, this is the translation. He says, every one of you should read this book repeatedly. I don't know if that word repeatedly is in Sanskrit, but Jayadvaita, who was his main editor, translated it as repeatedly. So he said, if you have questions, ask me, but you don't have to ask questions all the time. If you read the books repeatedly, the answers will come. And so he was very inspired by Rupa Goswami, even though it wasn't his Diksha Guru, it was his Siksha Guru. And it's partly because Rupa Goswami wrote in a way that was distinguishable from the English-speaking public. He wrote in a kind of a more simple fashion. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wrote, it was like trying to read an encyclopedia or something. It's really difficult going. I mean, maybe some of you have read the Brahma Samhita, but those purports are really, really advanced in the English language. So Prabhupada chose the Bhagavad Gita, which he was working on even before he left India, and then he had to start again because the manuscript was stolen. But one of the first books that was published was Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. My point is that he was very inspired by Rupa Goswami, even though Rupa Goswami wasn't his Diksha Guru. But he does refer to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, as my spiritual master. And to this day, I mean, not to this day, but throughout his sojourn, throughout his sojourn in the United States, he let it be known that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was his guru, was his Diksha Guru. But the books he gave us, Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction and Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam were not the products of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. They were Diksha Gurus, Siksha Guru inspirational. So that's what I wanted. And I think that all of you kind of know this because you regard the other gurus and other leaders in the movement. That they are, in a sense, they're like your gurus. We can call them mentors or inspirational people. But even I'm a guru, but I have my own mentors. Among them is Hare Krishna, is Rabindranath Sarup and Naranjan Swami and the late Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Giriraj Swami. So everybody has their favorites, and they are my favorites. If I have a spiritual question, I get inspired by those people. and I asked them spiritual questions. Anyway, that's all I have to say. So now we're going to hear some offerings, and I'm going to try to do these in the order that you were initiated. It's not exactly, but I'm going to try to do it that way. And I want to start with Krishna, Kirtan, and Malini, because I think they were the first people.
Is your mother coming?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
She was in show when I was in show.
This is Radha Damodar, and her mother are initiates of mine. But anyway, her mother's a little elderly, and maybe it's just a...
Mum in Canberra.
Oh, she's in Canberra. Oh, well, that's the reason. And try to, when you either read your offerings or say them, try to keep them down to a short, like 3 or 4 minutes or something like that, because we don't want to be here all day. I mean, we do want to be here all day, but there has to be a beginning and an end to everything.
Can you hold it?
And I want this meeting to be, not super extended. Oh, and people that are not initiated yet, that are seriously aspiring, are not going to be part of the readings. The readings are going to be by initiated devotees. I had to draw the line somewhere. But next time, when we have this meeting, it'll probably be in the temple or the temple room, and everyone will have an opportunity to read or make an offering there. Everyone here.